Are you getting caught up in all the little things that are going wrong in your life? Do you get emotional about them? Do you get irritated when you miss a flight, or you answered one question wrong in the job interview or on the test, or when you launched your website, there was that one link that wasn't working properly? Do you spend a lot of time worrying and getting frustrated and worked up over these things? Or do you focus on the bigger picture, the things that actually really matter, and then just handle these little issues as they come up? This is something that I myself struggled with for a really long time. I would get caught up in all those little micro, meaningless, really non-important details that ultimately weren't going to make or break my success. They weren't really making that much of an impact, but for some reason, I just kept being obsessed with making sure that all these little things were in place instead of making the big power moves that would actually make my life incredible and create the type of future that I desired. Now, this switch really, for me, was one of the hardest ones to make, because if you are that type of person, if you do struggle with this, then it's gonna eat up a lot of your attention, a lot of your time, and you start overthinking. You start worrying so much. It's almost like it's the end of the world if one little thing is off. It's called perfectionism, commonly known as that desire to make sure that everything is on point. And I want you to get over it so that you can liberate yourself and experience true freedom in your life, because it's something that I myself know is a living hell to go through. And when you're finally out of it, it's like you've been reborn. It's like you're a different person. It's like you've got so much more energy and your mental faculties are free to actually concentrate and focus and dig in on the things that matter and make a real difference. And here's how I worked myself through this, and hopefully you can take something from it, apply it in your own life, and go ahead and kick this bad habit and really just nasty little trait that doesn't really serve you in the long run. The first thing that was really, really important for me was to always identify why I was getting caught up in the little details. Why was it so important? Why? I want you to ask yourself, if you're struggling with this, if you have this problem, why am I so obsessed with whether or not everything is perfect? And usually it'll come back to something like, I just want people to respect my work, or I just want to make something that's meaningful. I want to make an impact. I want to make a difference, or I want people to recognize my talents and my abilities. I want my parents to approve of me. I want, something from the outside. I want to make sure that there's a certain impression of me that's coming across. And that's called micromanaging impressions, trying to get people to see you a certain way. And the way that we work past this one is we realize that it's okay to want to impress people. It's okay to want to make an impact, and it's okay to get those external results. But sitting here and obsessing about that one little thing isn't going to get us results. What we have to really understand is that nobody cares other than you. And when I realized this, it changed my life. I mean, I would literally be so worried if my hair didn't look perfect. And if that video had to go out, it was just like, no, I can't release it because my hair. Or I can't make a video because of my hair. Or I can't, make a video because the lighting isn't just right. Or whatever. I'll find something to pick on. And now you've probably seen many videos where my hair looks like I'm a crazy scientist. And I don't mind. In fact, all the merrier, with lots of comments and people laughing about it. I enjoy it. But I used to be so worried. Wow, the hair. Yeah, maybe you're doing that right now. You're going to work, or you're trying to build your business, or you're doing something, and then you're worrying about your hair. And look, the truth is, no one cares other than you. Once you realize why, you will realize that this little thing that you're so concerned about isn't going to lead to people being impressed or blown away. That little detail, if anything, is taking your time away from making something that will truly have an impact, from truly affecting other people's lives, or from getting everybody to see how great you are. So we can walk away from that now, because there's no sense in hanging on to it if it doesn't serve us even in the way that we wanted it to originally. You see, there's that disconnect. You want to make an impact, you want to make a difference, or you want it to be just right, but focusing on this little thing isn't necessarily going to get you there. And then once we have that little epiphany, and we realize that, hey, wait a second, nobody cares other than me. If I was watching a video, I wouldn't say, oh, well, the hair, I would focus on the content personally. That's all I really care about. Like, how is this helping me? Am I engaging with the person emotionally? Do I feel connected? Okay, great. So that's way more important than the hairstyle to me. So why would I focus on right? Do you see that? And it's so hard because when you're in this loop and you're so used to thinking this way, your mind is almost like, no, don't do it, because your ego is identified with that. Your hair is who you are, or your lighting is who you are, or let's say you're trying to make music. Well then, if you didn't get the beat just right, or if you didn't, that's who you are. And people are going to remember you for that forever. And if you have one little flaw, then you're not going to get the results that you want. And it's crazy. Finally, what we really need to do is switch over to almost like a greater good type of mentality. For the greater good, what can we do that will really matter? What will really serve us in the long run? What is the vision? And in the case of the hair example, it was much more important for me to just produce a ton of content. So I made videos every day for a year when I first started. That was way more important than whether or not my hairstyle was okay. So can you prioritize the thing that actually matters now and ask yourself, what would really make a difference? What would really make an impact? What would really create that result that I so deeply desire? And usually it's not those little things that you're being caught up in. So the perfectionism is an excuse for you to not become successful. And you think that it's actually, this thing that's holding you back from not being successful. Your perfectionism is trying to pick out something to blame your failure on. And you're not making any progress. And the moment that you drop this and you realize this, it's enlightening. Because you understand that, wait a second, it's not that little thing. It's not, the one little error, the one little mistake, or the link not working, or whatever it might be for you, right? That one answer, it's that I'm not focusing on the bigger picture, the greater good. And for you, what is that bigger vision? What really matters? Get bought into that and realize that nobody cares. Realize why you even cared so much about it in the first place, and understand that when you link that up with the true vision and what really matters, now you can go out there and instead focus on practicing every day, or producing a better song, or finally stepping it up and doing that new move that you've been thinking about for so long. But because you hadn't perfected the last one, you couldn't move on, because if you don't perfect that last one, you can never be good enough to do the next one. It's just all brain fluff. Get out of it. Don't let it hold you back, because, as cheesy and corny as this might sound, humanity depends on you to progress, on the individual. And if you're getting caught up in this little detail that really won't make a difference in the long run, your life will stay stagnant. You will not have breakthroughs. You will not progress, and you will not push what's humanly possible. You won't move the needle forward for anyone, including yourself. And you'll feel stuck and trapped and miserable the longer that you let this control you. So if you're suffering from perfectionism, or have suffered from it, if you've had this mental disease for a while, drop it now. Understand why you're focusing on it, that no one else cares, and that there's a bigger vision, there's a greater good here that really matters, that if you would only pour your heart and soul into that instead of the little details, you'd be rewarded so much you wouldn't even be able to take in all of the reward. I used to focus on those little details. I got nothing. I started focus on the greater good, the bigger vision, and my life just started clicking into place, and everything came together, and all the people and all the connections and all the deals and all the wealth and all the abundance that I really needed or wanted just came into my life. And it's as easy as that. And I know that that's hard to believe if you're still caught up in that. Oh no, but this little thing, what about this little thing? And maybe you even pick it out in other people, not just yourself. It's tough to quit. I'm telling you, ask yourself, why is this so important? Why am I focusing on that little thing? Nobody else cares. And finally, what is the greater good so that I can focus on my vision instead of the little petty details.